Hello, everyone. I'm Dijon,
I'm Amir.
and welcome to the Mustardcast, the podcast about the art of storytelling and how it's used across different mediums. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see our channel grow, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. As usual, what's up with media you're consuming? You can go first, Amir.
I haven't really been consuming a lot of media outside of video games recently. I'm not gonna lie. Um, yeah, honestly, I really don't think I've been consuming much outside of video games. But what I have been consuming in video games, I have been playing a lot of Payday with my friends because my friends got Payday, and now we finally have a full squad for Payday. Another one of my friends, because I only had one friend that had Battlefield 2042 before. Now two of my friends got Battlefield 2042, and that's been fun. I've been playing with them. What else? What else? What else? Deep Rock Galactic. I don't know if you saw that. That was the PlayStation free game of the month. I'm not gonna be playing it a lot because over like half the enemy types in the game are spiders, like different variations of spiders, and I have severe arachnophobia, so I won't be playing it a lot. But it sucks because I really like the game. Like it's really fun, really what's the word I'm looking for? Like in creative. It's a very creative game. Something I haven't really seen in a lot of places. Um, and the
What's the
I want to
premise?
talk about it a little. Wait, go ahead.
What's the game like?
Oh, it is. It's kind of hard to explain. I was getting that though, but it's hard to explain. It's like you're like a dwarf and you join like this space mining colony, and like every round, I guess, or it's not really. It's kind of like a round. It's basically like you mine until you can extract, or until you have enough stuff to extract, and then you have to survive until extraction, sort of. And so like you're mining, it's got a lot of like really cool mining elements. And I mean like really cool mining elements. Like there's like lighting devices that you can throw, and like there's like this drone that follows you around that you like put all the stuff that you mined into it. And it's really cool. And one of the things I like most about it, which is why I'm a little more sour that there's so many spiders in it, because I really want to play it more often, is because like the what's the I'm looking for, the like the hub world or whatever it is, like the place that you get to like hang out within the place you get to like hang out with your friends and stuff like that is so cool. It's one of the coolest ones. It's one of like the coolest like home bases I've ever seen in a video game ever. There's like there's character creation there, obviously. There's stuff that you can like upgrade or like upgrades you can have, stuff like that. But then there's also like mission reports and like in-world news and like a whole bunch of stuff. There's a memorial for like every time a miner dies, like their name goes on like a giant, I mean it's like the biggest room in the game, like this giant like memorial room. And it's like I want that to be like what a bat cave in video games is like, because there's just so much that like it's hard to go into, but there's just so much about it that's just so cool. And like I want a bat cave in video games, or like the Belfry in Gotham Knights. I want it to be like that because it's so cool and so expansive, and it's something that I have never seen out of a video game base ever. And so that was really fun.
I feel like in an open world game like Gotham Knights, they could make the Batcave or the Belfry much more like exploratory. Like you can
Oh
look
yeah.
look through it a lot more. I feel like they could do something like that. And also, you talking about like dwarves in space just made me think like we need more stories with fantasy characters in space. Like that's what Thor should have always been from the beginning. Like Thor should have always just been like fantastical and mythological characters, but in space. And it didn't become that until Thor Ragnarok. And even then, they were on another planet that barely had anything to do with like the mythology and the fantastical characters. So I hope with Thor Love and Thunder that they explore more of that, just fantasy characters in space, just elves and dwarves and stuff like that, but in space.
That reminds me, this isn't video games per se, it's not exactly, but I don't know if we're going to touch on this. Did you see Thor's new costume?
Yeah, we're gonna touch on that.
Okay, okay. Um, I've been playing Persona 5 Strikers because it's free on PlayStation Plus. I've actually been liking it. I have been quoted as one of my closest friends has said, I've been quoted as severely hating Persona, perhaps unfairly, and he's not wrong.
Say something because
Uh,
About my experience with Persona. 80 hours, didn't finish it. I loved it though. It was a really fun game, Persona 5. But since you're playing Persona 5 Strikers, that soundtrack though, how you
The
feel?
soundtrack is great.
Oh
The
my,
soundtrack is really great.
Persona soundtrack, specifically Persona 5, bro. Persona 4 also has a really good soundtrack. Persona 5 soundtrack is so good. It makes no sense how good it is. It like Persona 5 soundtrack, favorite. It's my favorite soundtrack of all time. It's so good.
Yeah, I like the soundtrack a lot, and I'm enjoying the game. I must admit, even though I've hated on Persona in the past, specifically because I don't really like turn-based games all that much. Uh, but Strikers erases that problem. Strikers really reminds me of like Hyrule Warriors,
That's why
Legend of Zelda.
that's why I'm not playing it, because I like hack and slashes, but I don't like those types of hack and slashes. Those like Dynasty Warrior type games where you're just slashing tons and tons of enemies. I'm not really into those types of games. Otherwise, because it's Persona and you have a bit of hack and slash, you think it would be my type of game, but it's not.
Yeah, I can understand that. Typically, I'm not a big like Dynasty Warriors fan either, but I felt like the formula was really good in Hyrule Warriors. And apparently this is made by the same studio. I don't know if that's actually true, but I was told that it was made by the same studio, by the same friend that was clowning on me because I was hating on Persona, and now I love it. But he was like, yeah, it's made by the same studio, so that's why I play so much like Hyrule Warriors. And I was like, oh well, that makes sense because it feels exactly like Hyrule Warriors does. And I like Hyrule Warriors a lot. I don't like Dynasty Warrior type hack and slashes like you said, but I do like.
At the
Okay.
studio, I'm pretty sure it's the same, literally the exact same studio that also does Dynasty Warriors.
So they just make all the games. This is what they're perfect at. Oh, but yeah, I'm not a big Dynasty Warriors fan, but I do like Hyrule Warriors, and I did really like Persona 5 Strikers, and I plan to continue it at some point, but I don't know when that some point is going to be. What else have I been playing? I've been playing a lot of. I said today, didn't I? Yeah. Other than that, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about like horror and supernatural stuff because I'm working on a top secret project about horror and monsters and stuff like that. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos around that, which is always fun because I love horror. Horror, what? I love horror. Everyone that watches this knows I love horror. So I get to like actually just like sit and research about like horror and monsters and creatures and stuff, and it's great. Love it. That's really about it. Wait, what?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Is that it?
I'm pretty sure that's it. I'm almost positive that's it. I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, been playing Halo Infinite. I'm in the end game. I'm pretty sure I'm the final boss, but literally, I fought through like gauntlets and gauntlets of enemies, and then I realized, oh, this is the final boss. I'm not playing this right now, and I just cut it off. But yeah, I'm almost done with Halo Infinite, and after I finish that final boss, I'm gonna clear out and try 100% everything on the map, and then I'm done. Halo Infinite has been really, really good. Some people don't like the new AI. I like her. She's just called the Weapon. I think she's cool. And Halo can't make an AI and not make her look good. They can't not do it. It's just what they do. In terms of games, I also played Life is Strange True Colors. It was on sale. For like, $42. I was like, now's the time. Because my mom she was gonna get me a PlayStation gift card, but she just never got around to getting to it. And I was like, you can just give me the money you're going to use to get the gift card, and I'll just buy the games. So she did that. Then I just bought the games. Yeah, Life is Strange True Colors was really good. Third game to ever make me cry. Around the end of the game, something happened. Wait, have you watched Berlizzi play all of it?
Yeah, I watched this entire playthrough. It's the only Life is Strange playthrough that I watched all the way because I really don't like Life is Strange as a general rule, but this one was good.
I'm gonna talk spoiler free and then I'll get into spoilers. But yeah, it was this one part that was super emotional. I think it's a really good game. It's hard to tell how impactful the choices are, because when I look through like a lot of people, other people playing the game, some of the choices, they'll give you three choices, but all three of the choices would have kind of gotten you the same outcome, which is weird in some cases. Like an example of that would be when you go to talk to Ryan when he's out on the cliff and he's upset, and you have three choices to tell him like that you forgive him, he should forgive himself, or someone else should forgive him. And I chose that one person who he's upset about should forgive him. And like when I was looking up like what other people chose, like no matter which one you chose, it would have worked out fine. Um, so yeah, that was but it was still good. And there were some choices that for some reason a lot of people at the end of the game didn't have Ryan on their side. And the reason being was that you have to get like, I think there's two circumstances you have to get to have Ryan be on your side at the very end of the game. And it's, you have to get all of like majority of the people in the council to like be on your side. And there's one other thing that does it that people aren't really sure what it is. But yeah, it was weird that when I was looking through like the percentages, once I finished it, it said like a significant amount of people didn't have him on their side. And I was like, whoa, like, why didn't you have Ryan on your side? Ryan was my dude. He was cool. But yeah, now I'm gonna get into spoilers. Since you know. The part that made me cry was when it was in the like the flashback part when she was in the house with her brother and her dad was leaving. That shit, bruh, that tore me up, man. I was watching it and I was like, man, this is getting too close to home. Don't do this to me right now. And every time I played an episode, I wouldn't stop playing it until I finished the entire episode. So yeah, man, that part made me upset. It made me cry, bro. I was sitting there like, man, you can't be doing this to me, game. It was a really good game. I really like it. So anyway, I've watched like the first 10 minutes, not even that, of Cobra Kai episode 1, season 4. I've barely watched it. Boba Fett, of course, we'll talk about that later. I watched Spider-Man No Way Home a third time in IMAX out White Marsh. It was good. It's still a good movie. And I finally watched Encanto, which I kept hearing people rave about, and I was like, you know what, let me check this movie out. It was really good. I watched it last night. There were some songs stuck in my head, and I want to watch it again. But yeah, that's all I got on the what media I'm consuming. Have you seen Encanto?
I've not seen Encanto. I forgot to add though, I did watch most of Cobra Kai season 4. I'm not finished with it yet. I'm on like episode 9 out of 10. So like I'm almost done. And I know what happens at the end, but I haven't finished the season. But no, I didn't see Encanto yet. I wanted to, like I was interested in seeing it at first when like the first trailer started coming out. I don't know if you remember when we went to go see Black Widow, like that was one of the trailers for Black Widow. And I was excited, and then I don't know why I didn't realize it was going to be a musical. But as soon as I learned it was a musical, I wasn't interested. Like all my interest just kind of left, and I was like, "Well, now I'm not really interested anymore."
Like 90% of Disney movies are musicals.
I know. I don't know what, and I'm a huge Disney fan. I didn't know why I didn't think it was going to be a musical, but it didn't occur to me like, "Oh yeah, this is probably a musical," and now I just don't want to watch it.
Yeah, that's the thing about me though. I also am not big on musicals. So, like the only musical like I've watched multiple times and I like love is The Greatest Showman. But like for me, if it's animated, I'm more likely to enjoy a musical. Like I love Disney movies, but I don't like live action musicals like at all. And I feel like the divide is that live action musicals feel weird because it's real people spontaneously jumping into song and dance. Like if there's a musical episode of a show I'm watching, like The Flash has done it, Lucifer has done it, I can watch that and enjoy it immensely. But if that's like the whole deal of the show, like it was Glee or something, I couldn't do that. But with animated movies, for me, it works more because it's already very fantastical because it's animated. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's what a divide is for me.
The only animated movie I've ever enjoyed was the High School Musical trilogy, and that's literally like I've never enjoyed another. I've seen a lot of musicals because again, huge Disney fan. I've never liked another musical except for High School Musical.
Like, what is it? I get my favorite Disney Channel original movie is Lemonade Mouth, and that's a musical. I do like Lemonade Mouth, and Let It Shine's cool too. My little brother used to watch it so much it got annoying. But Lemonade Mouth is probably like my favorite Disney Channel original movie, and that's a musical.
This is semi-unrelated, but since you started talking about Disney Channel originals, do you remember Wendy Wu? What was it? Wendy Wu Something Warrior? That was my movie.
Yes, I do. With what's her name from Zack and Cody?
Yes, bro, that was my movie. I love that movie so much. I gotta go see it. Is it on Disney Plus? If it's on Disney Plus, I'm watching it after this. That's immediately what I'm doing after this. I'm watching it.
Yeah, Brenda Song. Yeah, I remember that. Wendy Hogan Warrior. That was
Yes, Homecoming Warrior. Oh my god, you just reminded me of that. You just woke so many memories up. Like,
yeah, that was a good movie. But on to animation. So Scott Pilgrim animated series is happening. Made by Netflix, made for Netflix by animation studio Science Saru and the series creator Brian Lee O'Malley. Science Saru previously animated Devilman Crybaby for Netflix. I don't know if you've seen Devilman Crybaby. It's a wild anime.
I saw like the first half of it and lost my interest after the first episode, but I was like, let me try to stick with this, and it got worse and worse. I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
But it is wild. Devilman Crybaby is wild, and art style is okay. It's not. It's an interesting art style that's pretty hit or miss in my opinion. But Science Saru is animating this Scott Pilgrim series, which I have said forever that Scott Pilgrim should have an animated series because one, the movie's great. It's a fantastic movie, probably one of the best, if not the best, comic book adaptation movie live action ever. But it doesn't tell the full story because the movie was being made and released before I think the very final book, or maybe the book before that. There's 6 books. So Brian Lee O'Malley had an idea of how it was going to end, and he told Edgar Wright that, but they loosely adapted that, but it doesn't tell the complete story. And I feel like as good as that movie is, Scott Pilgrim is better suited for in the animation medium just by virtue of the way the story's told and how cartoony it is. And it obviously you can tell a fuller story in a longer format. So yeah, I'm excited for that. They're calling it an anime, and you know how I feel about just calling any cartoon an anime. I literally talked about it again, like last episode or one before that. Um, the difference is with this one though, it is being animated by a Japanese studio, but I don't think that's all it takes to make something an anime. Like I've said 1,000 times, like Castlevania gets called an anime all the time. I don't think it's an anime. Do you think Castlevania can be considered an anime?
No, but that's partially because I didn't really watch Castlevania. I don't even know if it's animated, like who it's animated by or who it's made by. I just know that it's based off of an American video game. That's really all I know. Is Castlevania even an American game?
Oh, based off a Japanese video game. It's Konami.
Okay, I didn't know Castlevania was American or Japanese.
Yeah, it's made by the same studio that makes Metal Gear and Silent Hill. But yeah.
I'll get to that later. Never mind. Go ahead.
Like yeah. But it is animated by an American or Western. I'm not even sure if it's specifically American, but Western animation studio called Powerhouse, who also did Blood of Zeus. They did Masters of the Universe Revelations, and they did another anime series on Netflix. They do a lot of anime series for Netflix. And
did you watch Blood of Zeus?
Oh yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's gonna be this. They're supposed to be making another season. Which I didn't expect there to be another season when I was first watching it. But then at the end, I was like, I feel like there's more to this story. But yeah, but just like Blood of Zeus is also considered an anime. You've watched that. I wouldn't really consider it.
I would never consider Blood of Zeus an anime. Like that may just be because I don't like it, but like I really would not have like in a million years ever called that an anime. Like it doesn't. I don't know. I feel like a lot of what you call, like what you said, like a lot of what gets called an anime nowadays, I don't really consider an anime like at all.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about who made Blood of Zeus or anything. I just automatically was like, this is not an anime, like at all.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim is obviously very anime and manga inspired. The creator Brian Lee O'Malley admits that himself, but like it's still the way the story is told is so heavily Western that it just doesn't feel like an anime or a manga. So maybe he'll try to make the actual anime feel more like an anime. Make it feel more like it's straight out of Japan. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for this. I love Scott Pilgrim. I love the comics. I love the movie. I've read the comics all the way through, not all the way through twice, because the first time I read it, I got it from the library and they were missing one volume. And I had never read that one volume until I reread Scott Pilgrim last year. on Comixology, which I now own all of it, and I'm considering rereading it again. Have you read Scott Pilgrim?
I've read like a bit of the beginning, and what I read was cool. And I saw the movie like so many years ago. I don't even know how many years ago I saw the movie, but I saw the movie a long time ago. But I read like the first couple issues, I'm pretty sure.
How do you feel about the movie?
The movie was pretty cool. I mean, it's the like comic book movie that plays out like a video game movie a little bit, but I mean, it wasn't bad from what I remember.
I really like that movie. But moving on. Young Justice season 4. Have you finished this Zatanna arc?
I'm still on the exact same episode that I was last time we talked about Young Justice.
Yeah.
I finished the Artemis arc, which I really like. I really like the Artemis arc. I finished that and the Zatanna arc, and I was like, "Oh, cool, Zatanna! I can't wait to watch this." And somebody called me, and I picked up, and I was like, "Well, I can't multitask watching this." And I think I like started playing Far Cry 6 or something because I was like, "I can multitask talking and playing Far Cry, but I can't multitask talking and watching something." And I just never went back to finish watching the episode, like ever.
Dang, that's unfortunate. We got to talk about it another time because the very ending was pretty cool with what they decided to do at the very end. But they keep like how in the previous arc after the first one they kept flashing back to Beast Boy, like randomly showing him being depressed. They do that multiple times every episode, and I'm just
I
like,
feel like that's not going to go anywhere like immediately because they did something similar in season 3 from what I saw and from what I heard. Again, I never finished season 3 and I don't plan to, but from what I heard, they never went anywhere with a lot of this stuff in season 3, and I feel like it's about to happen again.
so yeah, they went somewhere with it. It was weird and not very well set up. Like it is so unnecessary. They just keep flashing to it and not like they just keep showing it but not going anywhere with it. It's so weird. But yeah, I can't talk much about it since you didn't watch all of it. So we'll have to get back to that in like a couple weeks. Comics. So I've actually read some comics this time, unlike last time where I wasn't really reading a lot of comics. Last time I did read Harley Quinn though, and I forgot to mention it. But in that issue, I'll actually get that when I get to Harley Quinn part. Wonder Girl. I read Wonder Girl. The Brazilian Amazon tribe, alongside the previous two Wonder Girls, Donna Troy and Cassie Sandsmark, are going to Olympus to save Yara Flor, who pretty much has already sprung herself free and is at the gate that they're on the other side of, and she's just trying to open it. Black Manta. Black Manta goes to Ethiopia, excuse me, to discover how to cure the sickness that he has from this mysterious stone. I think it's the same stone that what is his name, Manta Ray, is using to like perform hydrokinesis. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. I read the first issue of Batgirls. I was considering because it was taking me a while to sit down and actually read some comics, and I wasn't sure how I would feel about this because I love the art style, but I wasn't sure how I would feel about the story. But I was like, I will check out at least the first issue, and it kind of caught me. It kind of got me like, I'm interested. I want to see where this goes. So I might check out the second issue. The art's beautiful. It looks amazing. But yeah, it's just the Batgirls. All three of them are on a run from the Magistrate, which I haven't been reading any of the other Batman series, so I don't know what's going on with the Magistrate right now. All I know is from what I remember from like Future State. Like, what's going on with Magistrate right now in the comics?
So I have not read Batman since Fear State. So, but in Fear State, the Magistrate played a huge role. The Magistrate teamed up with Scarecrow in order to enact his Fear State so that the Magistrate could maintain control, which is actually a pretty good, well thought out plan. Ghostmaker explained it because apparently when he and Batman had like their like big little scuffle, Ghostmaker was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to Gotham. And so he went to Gotham without Bruce knowing, and then went to Gotham University or Gotham State University, where Scarecrow was like a student or like a teaching student or whatever, and learned from Scarecrow about like how to feel and stuff like that. Because one of the things Batman did was called him a sociopath or a psychopath, and like that he couldn't feel human emotion. And so he went to wait, go ahead.
Is this like before Batman was Batman, or it was just like?
Oh, this is before Batman was Batman,
Okay,
but it was
I was like,
after he and Ghostmaker had their.
because I was like, how the hell are they letting Scarecrow teach a class right now?
No, this is before Batman was Batman. Scarecrow is still like a teenager, like 19, 20 years old. Like he's like it's before Batman was Batman. Um So Ghostmaker's like 18 or 19 or whatever, and he goes to Gotham State University to learn how to feel or something. So he's like, I'm gonna go talk to the psychology department. And the psychology department's like, we have this great, like most promising student ever, Jonathan Crane, you can learn from him, yada yada yada. And he spent like 3 days, because Ghostmaker is a genius. I don't care what anybody says, he's cooler than Batman. And I don't know, I'm not gonna say he's smarter than Batman, but like he's up there. He's comparable. So it takes him like 3 days or whatever to learn from, or not, no, it was like a week to learn from Scarecrow. And he said Scarecrow terrified him. And he was like, not because he was like physically scary or anything, but the stuff that he talked about, yada, yada, yada. And Scarecrow explained the fear state, which is basically this long, actually really well thought out plan of basically how to make it so like, it's hard to explain, like how to get an organization or something to fill a power vacuum and have people willingly accept it. And so the magistrate he winds up like writing his doctoral thesis or whatever on it. And the magistrate finds out about this and reaches out to Scarecrow and is like, we'll help you with this, but we want to see it done. And so Scarecrow's like, okay, bet. So then basically Scarecrow's working with him, but Scarecrow is like, I don't really want the magistrate running everything. I want to run everything. So of course, secretly Scarecrow starts pulling the strings. And he winds up doing a lot of stuff with like Peacekeeper 01 or whatever. And then I don't know, it's weird, but the magistrate's still in Gotham. This time funded by Mayor Naka, whatever his name is, the one-eyed mayor, the mayor with the eye patch. And he's being funded by him because he still is super anti-vigilante, anti-bat. And yeah, no, that's pretty much, at least to my knowledge, where everything is. So
I thought you said he was anti-vax for. I was like, what?
No, he's anti-bat.
Yeah, but,
I mean, he might be. I don't really know his politics all too much, but
yeah, but Harley Quinn. Last issue that I forgot to talk about was featuring Vixen, Cyborg, and Zatanna as members of the Justice League, but it was just those three in this specific city doing something. And whenever I make a Justice League roster, there are two characters I always include: Vixen and Zatanna. And this comic just reinforced that choice of mine because they work well together, and just the way they bounce off each other in this comic is great. And Cyborg feels so much more at home beside these two than he does with the other, 6 members that he's usually with. And if I didn't like whenever I make a team, the only reason I don't include Cyborg is because I want to include Mr. Terrific. Otherwise, I would include Cyborg. But I just feel like having two smart Black dudes on the team, I'm just like we only need one person to fill that space right now. You can be on a separate team. But yeah, I like Cyborg with Zatanna and Vixen. It's really cool. What else? So essentially what happened in that comic was that Harley was kidnapped by some trash monster called that claims that he's the best poisonous villain, and he kidnapped Harley so that he could get Poison Ivy to admit it. Radiant Black. Radiant Black saved his friend's life, who was in a coma and was dying. But when he did it, he went to a different dimension. And when he came out of the dimension, 6 weeks had passed, 6 weeks after he saved his friend's life. So his friend is in physical therapy now and recovering. And now everybody around him, including his friend's parents, who were at the hospital with him when he ran off and was like, I'll save his life, they think that he just abandoned his friend. So now all his friends and his like coworkers and stuff hate him. He lost his job, and he's just like, the only person that knows that he didn't abandon him was his actual friend, because his friend was like in the other dimension with him when he was trying to save his life. So like everybody just hates him now because they think that he just abandoned him while he was on his deathbed. Yeah, I'm enjoying Radiant Black a lot. This also, I think tomorrow, it might have been today, because there's going to be a Harley Quinn 25th anniversary comic that I want to check out. But I have to send you some pictures of the art, man, because the design for Batman and Robin is so good. The Batman design is a combination of the Batman and Joker designs are a combination of the Tim Burton Batman and Robin with the animated series Batman. Batman and Joker, I meant to say. And the Robin is just straight up, in a lot of ways, the animated series, Dick Grayson Robin. And it just looks good. The art and the way he designs the characters just look amazing. I'm gonna have to send that to you. But yeah, I'll probably be checking that out because I really like Harley Quinn, and the art just looks beautiful. And she was introduced in the animated series, so that's why they're going with that art style. Dark Knights of Steel.
Wait, right quick, because you were just on the topic of Harley Quinn, and I wanted to bring this up because you like Harley Quinn. We all know I'm not the biggest Harley Quinn fan, but you like Harley Quinn. Did you read like the newest Harley Quinn issue where she and Poison Ivy broke up?
No, but I heard about it.
Okay.
Because they are stupid. They need to stop. Let them stay.
I mean, I can understand it. It's like they grew apart. They need to grow back together. It seemed like more of a break to me than a breakup, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest Harley Quinn fan. I don't really care.
They've done it several times before, but every comic series does this where they have the main character end up breaking up with their long time. Like they don't like letting characters stay in relationships in comic books. The character always have to break up with the person that they always end up getting back with, and dating some other people in between. That's just what they do. So yeah. Dark Knights of Steel. I'm really enjoying this comic. There's something happening in the last issue that I won't spoil that's like major that I wasn't feeling very much.
I already know exactly what it is.
You know exactly what it is.
I haven't even read the comic, but I've like seen Instagram previews and stuff like that. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so spoiler alert, tell me so I can be sure.
Okay, Supergirl kills Jeff.
I was like, why? It's too
early. I was gonna feel that.
Like it's too early to lose this dude. Like they set him up as such an interesting character. Just to come off in the third issue. It's the third issue. And also Zala is a maniac. She's a menace. This is the person J. Jonah Jameson is talking about. She is just going around shoving her fist through people's chest constantly. She's insane.
Reminds me a lot of Omni-Man, like a whole lot of Omni-Man, but like way more psychopathic.
She's insane. She dropped this man's child from the top of the castle. Something's wrong with her. She needs to go down. But yeah, I was upset because I was like, at least like I can understand killing him off. Just wait though. Like give us some time with him. Let us really get to know this version of Jefferson Pierce, of Black Lightning, before you kill him off, Like Jesus Christ. They did that way.
I mean, I'll put it like this. In Tom Taylor, we trust, but like this felt a little too early. I really wish they kept him alive.
Overall, though,
at least a little bit longer.
Overall, though, the story's still pretty good. I'm still hopeful in it. Have you been keeping up with I haven't read any of it. I might read it when a full volume comes out because people are saying that it's pretty good. But DC versus vampires?
No, I haven't, but I kind of want. I'm not a big fan of like the whole like, oh, this whole universe is now facing this threat type of thing. I don't really like DC all that much. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just don't like seeing like my favorite characters just getting brutally murdered and then turned into something else. Like, did you see what happened to Barry?
Well, wait, in DC store.
In Vampires.
All I know is that, spoiler alert, that Hell killed him.
Yeah. And it was like, it's so stupid how he killed him. And I was like, and like he was begging for his like, oh, I don't know, I don't like it. But maybe I don't know, maybe I'm just too optimistic. Maybe I don't know. But I don't know. It has Black Canary in it, and she's supposed to be playing a huge role, and the Bat Family is supposed to be playing a huge role. And there's two things I love. It's Black Canary and the Bat Family. So like maybe I'll give it a shot.
If there's anything that I love, it's Otto Schmidt drawing Green Arrow and Black Canary. I love the way he draws them.
I like the way he draws the whole Bat Family too. I hadn't really seen him draw the Bat Family before, and his art for them is really good.
Yeah, what was I gonna say? Somebody mentioned that it would be cool if they did how they do on Marvel, the like Deadpool, Punisher, whoever versus the Marvel universe. Kills the Marvel universe. What if they did that with Blade, but it was like DC versus vampires, where everybody's like turned into a vampire, and Blade has to like, Blade, once you're a vampire, it's over for you. Blade doesn't care. Right. Blade doesn't care if you're Spider-Man, you're going down. So it would be cool if they did a Blade kills the Marvel universe, but it's like DC's vampires, where they're not sure who's vampires and they're trying to figure it out, and they get together with Blade, and like it's just Blade just taking out vampires and eventually killing the whole universe or something like that. I feel like that could be a fun story. That could be a fun like a what if episode once Blade is introduced in the MCU.
What if the Marvel universe turned into zombies?
I guarantee you that once Deadpool is officially in the MCU, they're going to do a what if episode that's what if Deadpool kills the entire Marvel universe. For sure.
That entire I don't know. Maybe I really just don't like concepts like that. But like that comic
You know how I feel.
was not good.
You know how I feel
Like,
about.
did you read Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe?
I watched a video about it a long time ago. It might have been like a comic explained video, but you know how I feel about like overly dark comics and overly violent.
Yeah.
Like, I hate Ultimatum, and like there's this person I follow on Twitter who's been reading through Ultimate Spider-Man and just talking about how great it is because I love Ultimate Spider-Man. I need to reread it on myself. I haven't read it since I was a kid, but like and he's just talking about how good it is, and I'm like, you know what? That's making me want to read it more. And he got to like the Ultimatum tie-ins, and he actually just straight up I think read Ultimatum and was just talking about how horrific it was, and I was like, yeah, it was. That scarred.
Ultimatum is dark for no reason. Like that's fine to have a dark comic story that's like it has a purpose behind it. There's no purpose for Ultimatum being that dark. Like I just watched a comic strip video on it because I read Ultimatum when I was like,
It scarred me as a child.
it did because I read it when I was way too young. I read it when I was like 10. I should not have been reading Ultimatum.
Like,
it was horrible.
What that really messed me up, and like for people listening, like trigger warning, because this messed me up when I was a kid, was when the Blob ate Wasp, and then Giant Man like bit off the Blob's head for
yeah, let's say he bit off his head,
and I was just like, why? Why?
It was so stupid. It was so stupid.
It was. I hated Ultimatum. Let's move on to TV and film, though.
Please.
So Sony has confirmed that they're working on a Twisted Metal TV series. I'm interested to see where that goes because like that whole thing is about like a murder clown driving a car and killing people. It's weird. I wonder what they're gonna do with that. And if the main character is gonna be that dude, I forget his name, Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth. It could be a lot of fun. I heard a rumor that Anthony Mackie got cast as Sweet Tooth.
I heard that too.
Like a while ago.
I just know that he's a murderer.
he's basically like think of like the Joker, but like driving like a giant ridiculous car or like ridiculous van, and he kills everybody in the van.
And here's the thing: if they're making a Twisted Metal TV series, you know they're making a new video game. They're probably going to make a video game to accompany it.
I was gonna say I don't doubt that they're making a video game, and I really hope they do because like Twisted Metal is, I'm not gonna say it's good, it's fun. It is just stupid fun, and you know I love racing games. It's the stupidest racing game I've ever played in my life, and it's just so fun.
I forget, was it All-Star Brawl or whatever, that game that was like that came out at the beginning of like the PS5, where it was like the cars you crash into people and stuff like that. Like that's
I honestly have no clue what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about Nickelodeon All Stars. And I was like, wait, what? You said cars. I'm like, whoa.
I knew you talked about it before. I just can't remember what it's called. But it's like a racing. It's not a racing game, but it's like
with the parkour elements.
Yes, like
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Twisted Metal is kind of like that.
But, yeah, it's just utter ridiculousness. It's so much fun.
Speaking of costumes earlier, we're actually going to start off with the Riddler. So have you seen the images of the Riddler's costume? Or like
Of course I have. I have like 30 different alerts set up on every device that I own for anything related to Matt Reeves Batman. Like, of course I've seen this.
Okay, so there's been some debates about this online, about the design. I think it fits what they're going for, but I do agree with some people that I feel like they could have incorporated the whole green suit aspect in some shape or form. Like, I'm not sure if this is like a part of his origin all the time, but I only know of his origin from Gotham, where he was like a forensic scientist. I don't know what he usually is. Is he usually a forensic scientist?
No. So I actually, for him being like my favorite Batman villain or one of my favorite Batman villains, I actually don't know all that much about his actual origin, but I know that in Zero Year it was retcon. He worked for Wayne Enterprises.
So either way, I'm just saying he would be in a job where he would have to dress like at least business casual, So I feel like that gives you an excuse to at least have him wearing like slacks, dress shoes, and like a button-up shirt and a tie, and the shirt could be green and just like the slack shoes and tie can be black. Like he doesn't have to be draped in all green. Like I just think there should be like you can still incorporate the suit in some shape or form, but also there's nothing saying that he won't end up wearing some form of that in the movie, because we've only seen
I was
this one form of him. He could still, under that, he's wearing like a hoodie over top, under it, under like the big jacket, and he has the mask. Under that, he could be wearing like a green collared shirt with like a tie on it or something like that. Like he could still be wearing a suit. Like that's possible.
I was gonna say I don't see a reason, because this obviously isn't gonna be the only Batman movie. People are saying it's a trilogy. I honestly think it might go for more than that, especially depending on how good it goes. But not only is it being like an entire movie series, it's gonna be an entire universe. I don't see a world where, one, they kill off Riddler in the first movie, and two, where in the future he doesn't get the suit. And as long as he gets it at some point, I'm okay with that. And that becomes like his character design from that point on. I'm okay with that. Because again, I love Riddler and I love the little the green suit and everything. But I mean, in my opinion, if he's first starting out, it kind of makes sense to me that he's like wearing the whole like Zodiac killer getup. But like I also don't see a world where he doesn't eventually get the whole green question mark suit and the little hat with the Mario hat with the one question mark in the middle. It's not a Mario hat, but it has like one symbol in the middle.
It's a bowler hat, usually.
It is a bowler hat. I call it a Mario hat though, because it has like the one symbol like in the middle of the middle of the forehead of the hat. Or it's not a forehead, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the forehead of the hat, yes. But yeah, I feel the same. Uh, I was gonna say something. Oh, I was like in my mind, and this might, I don't know how you might feel about this, but I was thinking he could wear a green suit, but if they want him to cover his face, like you know how Negative Man looks like in I know you haven't watched it yet, but you know what he looks like in why am I forgetting the name of the show? You know what I'm talking about. um
Doom Patrol?
you know what Negative Man looks like the wraps around his head with the like
I
the
did not know what he looks like in the show. I only know what he looks like in the comic.
well, in the show the goggles look more like swimming goggles rather than giant triangular glasses. He's wearing like
Okay.
swimming goggles over top of the wraps. I can imagine like uh the Riddler wearing like the green suit, and if you want him to cover his face, cover it in like green wraps around his head with like or since he was using the duct tape, what if he actually duct taped his head, like duct taped his head and had like his glasses over top of it? I think
Duct tape man.
duct tape man, and like a question mark in the middle of it. um, but yeah, moving on. Before we get to Thor's costume, we're just going to talk about the upcoming Marvel films. You know, this is the first episode of the year. We're just getting started. So let's talk about
Oh, it is. We haven't made an episode since last year, man. That's crazy.
um yeah, so we're gonna talk about this year's upcoming Marvel films. So um first is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It was my most anticipated, but Thor Love and Thunder stole that. I might be changing my mind about that based on this costume, but we'll get to that. It comes out May 6th. It got pushed back. How you feeling about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness?
Wait, real quick, repeat the Thor comment because I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, I said Thor usurped Doctor Strange as my most anticipated Marvel film. But that might have changed based on the costume, but we'll get to
Okay,
that.
I just want to make sure. I am very excited for Doctor Strange. I'm not a big America Chavez fan, but like another Young Avengers showing up is really cool. And you know I love Doctor Strange. Before Shang-Chi, it was, if not my favorite MCU movie, then definitely in the top three. I just love the cinematics. I love the effects and stuff like that. And I told you already when we were talking about No Way Home, I never realized how much I missed live action Doctor Strange until his fight with Spider-Man. I'm like, oh my God, I missed that. I needed that in my life.
What
I
happened
cannot love Doctor Strange.
earlier? I like last night it happened. I was watching so many just interviews with like Tom Holland, um, Zendaya, and Jacob Batalon, and I just ended up on this party. I was just watching about a bunch of like Marvel actors interviews and like compilations of them just messing with each other, and I was just watching that for hours. I was just sitting there watching these interviews from Marvel actors. It was enjoyable. It all started from watching one of the um let me look it up because I have the tab open right now. Nope, I closed it. Never mind. So like this like roundtable interview with a bunch of different actors, and on that interview was Jonathan Majors, who from Lovecraft Country, and who's playing Kang, and Andrew Garfield, along with Nicolas Cage. I can't remember his name, but the short guy from Game of Thrones, can't remember his name, and another actor who I recognize his face, but I don't know his name. And yeah, that somehow led me on the path of watching a bunch of interviews with Tom Holland, Zendaya, and Jacob Batalon. How did I get there? I don't even know why I started talking about that.
I don't either. Like it sounded like you had something in there that you were gonna like continue on the previous point. And I was like, well, where's it coming in?
Oh, because I was watching one where Benedict Cumberbatch was on he was on a talk show with Johnny Depp, and he like tackled a teddy bear off of a chair, like a giant teddy bear, and just started like beating it up, and it was very random. That's where I was leading, because you were talking about Doctor Strange, because I was like, how the hell did I get there? Anyway, Thor 11, no, yeah, Thor 11 Thunder comes out July 8th. I'm excited for that.
Costume. Can I finally start talking smack about that costume?
We're going to talk about that after we talk about all the stuff coming up. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is coming November 11th, which is probably going to get delayed again because Letitia Wright got sick because she is anti-vax, and that sucks. I'm interested in what they're going to do with this movie, because I am of the camp that I think they should recast him. And I hear that his family feels the same. So I was like, if his family feels that way, like I get it if the director and writers, they're like, we don't want to replace him. I get that. I think they should, but at the end of the day, it's their final decision. I just hope the movie's good, but I personally think that we should get more T'Challa. I hope it's the case of, instead of never like either killing him off or something like that, they have him just for some reason be unavailable. Like maybe he goes off to space with the Avengers to go do something. So somebody else has to take up the role and be the main character of the film. And that way they leave the door open for them to recast T'Challa in the future. I hope they do something like that, but they just don't want to do it so soon. That's how I feel about it. But I'm excited for it because I like the first Black Panther film. How you feel about Black Panther Wakanda Forever?
We've talked about this like countless times. I really hope they recast Chadwick Boseman eventually. But what you were just talking about kind of reminded me. What I kind of hope they do is that, like, sure, make sure Black Panther for now, maybe even kill T'Challa for now, but like it's revealed later at some point that he was or he became like King of the Dead or whatever, and bringing King of the Dead Black Panther, and then like that's when they give him the recast or whatever.
I thought you were gonna say reveal that he was a Skrull, and this is like a lead in the Secret Invasion.
No, but I'm not gonna say anything about it. I didn't like Secret Invasion as a general storyline, but like
Secret Invasion start with Echo killing Elektra, and she was a Skrull.
Yeah.
What if they do that? Because
I mean, like them Secret Invasion. I'm not gonna say Secret Invasion was bad because like the event itself was kind of cool, but like
my biggest just experience with Secret Invasion was the version that they did for Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes,
which was actually really good because Earth Mightiest Heroes was actually Earth Mightiest Heroes. First of all, is perfect. But second of all, they should have never canceled it. I'm still waiting for the revive.
That Captain Marvel, not Carol, but Marvel design is amazing. I really like his design in that show.
Oh yeah, no, his design in that show was great. Actually, I think almost every character design in that show was great. The only gripe I have with that show is that Shang-Chi makes an appearance in like the second to last episode as a nameless thug that Iron Fist and Luke Cage beat up. And I'm like, are you serious? He doesn't have any lines, doesn't do anything. He's just a nameless like thug. I'm like, what?
He's a nameless thug. If they ever would have bring that show back, they could retcon that easily.
They could, and I really hope they do, because first of all, I hope they bring that entire universe back. Spectacular Spider-Man, X-Men, Wolverine and the X-Men, Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes. They need to bring that whole universe back. That was great. But the fact that he was really delegated to like nameless thug number 45 in the background of this scene to get beat up by Iron Fist and Luke Cage. I'm like, really, bro?
Yeah, just kind of off topic, but you mentioning those shows just randomly made me think of, I really want a scene at some point in the MCU where two characters who we don't know if Captain America's dead, but we know he's gone somewhere. But two characters that played characters that are now, dead or whatever, or disappeared, come back as the characters that they played before, which are the Human Torch and Michael B. Jordan and Chris Evans both come back as Human Torches, and they have some type of interaction with each other. I need that in my life.
That'd honestly be hilarious. I can see it happening with all the multiverse stuff going on right now. That'd be pretty funny.
Everybody's looking at him like, isn't that Steve Rogers? And other people are like, isn't that Eric Killmonger? And they're both like, no, we're Johnny Storm. But yeah.
Ooh, that reminds me. I completely forgot. I was talking about Secret Invasion. I completely forgot about it. The reason I hate Secret Invasion is because, did you ever read the 2005 New Avengers series? No?
Oh, New Avengers. No.
Okay, well, first of all, you should. It's amazing. But there's so much about that series. It's one of my favorite comic series of all time. I'm not super big on most like Avengers team stories in the comics since like the 1998 Avengers series was really good. But like other than that, I haven't really been a fan of like most Avengers series ever, except for like the 2010 Secret Avengers, which is really good. But the 2005 New Avengers was great. It dealt with the Dark Avengers. It dealt with like the Superhuman Registration Act and everything. And there were so many really cool converging storylines and like really cool story arcs and stuff like that just got completely derailed by Secret Invasion. And I'm like, wait, like what? Like they had, oh my God, it was so good. Clint coming back.
We've been going on a lot of tangents, and we're getting, we're getting close to an hour, and I'm like, I don't want this podcast to go too long.
My bad. All right, enough Harry Potters.
Yeah, enough Harry Potters. So next we got these two don't have release dates, but these three, actually, one of them doesn't have release date, but it's slated for summer 2022, and that's Miss Marvel. But Moon Knight and She-Hulk are slated for 2022, but they don't have release dates. So who knows? Any of those could be delayed. But Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is almost gonna come around, December, November, holiday season, because it's holiday special. So yeah, now let's talk about Thor's new costume. I'm gonna obviously put a picture of it up on screen. It
is the worst costume I have seen in a Marvel movie in a long time.
It's a lot. It's unnecessarily a lot. Like, you know what happened though? I ended up looking at somebody posted some concept art of I think somebody posted a concept of Spider-Man. I was looking up Spider-Man concept art, and somehow I ended up in Thor concept art because I was thinking about that Thor costume. And I was just looking at Thor concept art from Thor, the first Thor movie and the second Thor movie. And I was like, man, some of these costumes look so good. Why didn't they go with some of these? And then I look at the new one and I go, that's so trash. Why did they? I don't know. Like, I hope. I pray to the gods that that's not actually what he looks like in the movie. I really do. I hope he doesn't look like that. I think the helmet's too much, like way too much. He looks like Nova, which is
that's exactly what I said. I sent it to a group chat with some friends. I was like, it's literally a Nova helmet with wings.
There's way too much yellow. And even if you look at it and you just recolor it and go, okay, remove the yellow on the part of his arm that's usually silver. They made that yellow for some reason, and it looks stupid. Remove that yellow. Remove almost all the yellow except for the yellow in the boots, because in the comics he has yellow in his boots. That's what he looks like. So that could work. Like, remove pretty much most of the yellow and make it dark blue and silver with the red cape. Like, calm down with these colors. You're doing too much. I really hope that's not official. I really don't like it. I think they should go back to the classic silver, dark blue, red cape. Bring the helmet back. I want to see the helmet, but like not the one that covers his eyes. Like, that's what Jane Foster's Thor is known for, the helmet that covers her eyes. Thor has probably worn a helmet like that before. I don't know, but I don't think he should now. I don't think he should start all of a sudden wearing helmets like that. Like, bring back the other helmet, like the helmet he wore, something similar to the helmet he wore in the first movie that he wore once and never wore again. Like, bring back the classic Thor helmet. Like, take that Nova, and there's like this weird eagle poking out the top of the helmet too. I hate that helmet. It looks so bad. I don't like it. What do you got to say, bro, before we move on?
I have personally never liked a Thor helmet. Like, I've always preferred Thor helmetless, and but literally the old helmet would have been much better than this. Any helmet would have been much better than this. It's like the worst possible idea that you could have had for a helmet ever. I didn't hear any of that. What you say?
It would have been better.
A bucket literally would have been better. Like, a paper bag, like turn him into bombastic bagman or something. That would have been better than this because this was horrible. But I don't even think that he really needs an elaborate costume right now. Like this is supposed to be what, like semi-adapting the Unworthy Thor storyline. Unworthy Thor is one of the coolest Thor costumes of all time. Just go with like a different version of that. I don't understand why this whole Power Ranger Nova Corps inspired, like, no, like what is this? Why? This is so much more extra than it needed to be.
I think they can just go with the sleeveless. Like he just has like the chest, the vest part with like the circles on him, and it's sleeveless. He has like bracers, and he like probably like brown bracers, and he has. I want him to have some yellow on his boots just for the sake of comic accuracy. But other than that, I don't think he needs a bunch of yellow and bright blue or a helmet. Like I'm not I don't dislike the helmet like you do. I think it could look cool, but he doesn't need it. Like I just think it's weird what they did. I just hope it's not what they go with. If it is, I hope the movie's still good.
Unfortunately, I think that it is official because I saw a post about it that was like it was showing like the new like an arm of the new Black Panther thing. No, that's how I found it. I was looking on Instagram. I saw a post. It was like the new or like a piece of the new Black Panther suit has come up, and it was literally just the right arm. And then there was just the big ass Thor in the center. And I'm like, you're just gonna ignore that big, bright, shining.
Yeah, because in that Spider-Man is also wearing his older costume. So I don't think that's necessarily like all the characters wearing their most updated costumes. So that might not be a new Black Panther costume.
Oh yeah, no. Like the thing was, I was like, oh cool, new Black Panther costume. After I like swiped over to the next slide, I stopped caring about Black Panther altogether because I was like, what is this? This is what got my attention. Everything else just went out the window. I stopped caring. I'm like, what is on his body? What is on his head right now?
Yeah, I think that Jane looks good though. I like the way Jane looks. Let's
Jane
move on.
looks cool.
So Black Canary and Batgirl. It is rumored that Dinah Lance will be in the Batgirl movie, portrayed by Smollett. What's her first name? Journey Smollett. And yeah, she will be training Barbara and working with Michael Keaton's Batman, who, you know, we also haven't talked about this. You know, people have been saying that Michael Keaton's gonna be Batman in that. And I don't know. I'm kind of confused what they're doing with the DC. What is it called? EU right now. I'm kind of confused on what they're going with. People are saying that they might just, you know, do a hard reset, which makes sense. But yeah, I'm very confused on what they're doing right now. But this is cool. I want some more Dinah, and you know, this could lead us to an actual Birds of Prey, because you know how I feel about that Birds of Prey movie and it not actually being a Birds of Prey movie and just being a Harley Quinn movie, and should have just been a Harley Quinn movie from the beginning. You know, this brings us closer to having an actual Birds of Prey movie with Black Canary, Huntress, Barbara Gordon, Batgirl. And that's cool. So a lot of people aren't liking the whole Dinah thing because they see it as Batman bossing around Black Canary and her taking inspiration from him instead of her mother, like they set up in the previous film, Birds of Prey. And I say, I don't understand why people feel like for some reason she can only take inspiration from her mother. That's not how inspiration works. You can take inspiration from multiple sources. She could take inspiration from her mother and Batman. Like that's a possibility. That's a thing that can happen. But also these are baseless assumptions. Like you have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. You're not even, you don't even have a clue if a lot of this is even true. But also her working with Batman isn't that deep. She's worked with Batman before. That's fine. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. Dom, have you heard anything about it? Anything?
I heard a lot about the future of the DCEU, which I'm not really a fan of. I don't know if you heard the rumors about the like direction the DCU is about to be going after Flashpoint. But
Yeah, I've heard some. I've heard some. Some of them feel baseless and just random, and people just making stuff up for the sake of it. Some of them, I'm like, I could see them doing that. Like, one of the big ones that people are talking a lot about is having Batgirl and Supergirl completely replace Batman and Superman as like those main versions of those, like, you know, the Bat character and the Superman character in that universe. Um, and being like, you know, members of the Justice League alongside, was it Shazam, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and there was someone else. I can't remember. But yeah. And yeah, it's a little weird. At this point, if you're going to just reset everything, get a new Superman, whether it's, you know, you bring back Henry Cavill or get someone new, like actually properly, like if they want to reset, hard reset, start back from the beginning, build it back up and take it slow. You know what I mean? Take it slow.
yeah,
Like build it back up. You know what I think could be really cool? So Superman barely ages because he's Superman, right? And if they want to make Michael Keaton the main version of Batman in this universe, but he's like an old Batman, like let's say he was actually literally Batman in the 80s and the 90s. And now he's older, and he's grooming, you know, maybe he's had Robin. He had some Robins. You have a Nightwing, you have stuff like that. And you have Brandon Routh playing older Superman, but because he barely ages, and Brandon Routh is obviously significantly younger than Michael Keaton, he could play that older Batman. Because like in Superman Returns, he was meant to be essentially like a continuation of the older Superman films with Christopher Reeve. So I think that could be cool. Bring back Brandon Routh as Superman and have him be like the main Superman of that universe, and have it be like combine the Batman 89 and the Superman, like the 70s Superman's universes. That could be cool. I think they could do that, and it could be cool. And they could have Wonder Woman, because she's Wonder Woman, she's been alive for a long time, have been a part of like that previous iteration of like the Justice League or something like that. And now they're building a new version of the Justice League. I think they could do that, and it could work. And you could like make those old Batman films canon, and those old Superman films, including Superman Returns, canon. I think they could do something like that if they really wanted to. But I think that the way they're going about it is really strange. How do you feel about what I just said?
I don't want Michael Keaton to be Batman anymore. Personally, I'm not a fan of a universe where Batman is older than Commissioner Gordon. I don't really. That's not really my cup of tea. Or a universe where Batman is, or where like Alfred's like over 100 years old or something. Like that's not really, if he's even alive at that point. That's not really my cup of tea.
That's fair.
I could see Michael Keaton be like Thomas Wayne. Like you got Michael Keaton to play like Thomas Wayne Batman in like a Flashpoint. That'd be cool. However, I don't know. Maybe if I'm just.
I would. Go ahead. I would want. I can't remember his name right now, but the dude who played Thomas Wayne before to be that Thomas Wayne. If they were
Jeffrey Morgan, whatever his name is.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I would definitely want him to be that version.
I mean, I could see that, but if they're going for a hard reset or whatever, I mean, and you want Michael Keaton back, I can see Michael Keaton doing. Or if you wanted to do like an alternate universe or an alternate timeline, and be like Michael Keaton is like Batman when he's like fully aged up, and you do a Batman Beyond movie, which I'm not a big fan of Batman Beyond, but like you could have that. I do not want a main universe, main timeline Batman to be like over 45. Yeah. Like that's ridiculous. I don't.
They don't know what they're doing, man.
They don't. I don't understand how they like. How do you fumble the bag this hard? It's like, it's comical how badly they're fumbling this bag. Like I don't understand how you could actually do this.
Yeah. So let's move on to Book of Boba Fett. You been watching Book of Boba Fett? Have you seen the first 2 episodes?
Of course, I've been watching Book of Boba Fett. Boba Fett's my second favorite Star Wars character. Of course, I've been watching that.
How you feeling about it? You know,
I like it. It's a little slower than I would have liked from a Boba Fett show, but at the same time, I'm not really going to complain about that because I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I was just really hoping for a bit more action, I guess. But however, let me just say, this show is really making me love Fennec Shand as a character. Fennec is going nuts in this show, and I love it.
Yeah. So a lot of people, a lot of people also think it's slow. I don't really think it's particularly slow, but what I do agree with, opinion that a lot of people have, are that the flashbacks interrupt the pacing a lot, and they take up a lot of time each episode. And I love them because they give more Tusken lore and like humanize the Tuskens and show that not all Tuskens are like the Tuskens that killed Anakin's mother. And I think it's definitely setting up an arc, spoiler alert, an arc where the Tuskens like essentially take back their land or like create their own city or something like that. And I think Boba's going to help them do that now that he's essentially, honorary Tusken now. But I do think that they could balance out the time spent each episode between flashback and like the modern day stuff like much better, because a lot of people, including me, even though the Tusken stuff is so interesting that I don't care, came with the expectation that this was going to be a story about Boba being a crime lord and like showing us more of the like gang side of the Star Wars universe, and we aren't getting as much of that as people would like. And I definitely sympathize with that, because I agree. I feel like they're giving us too much backstory every episode in comparison to the modern day stuff. And I think they need to find a better balance between the two, which based on the pacing so far, I'm not sure if they will. Even though I'm enjoying it, I definitely see why some people feel that way about it. Anything else?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Like I do enjoy it. I will say that I do really enjoy it. And I enjoy where it is so far. But the flashbacks bring it to an absolute crawl. Like they halt the pacing almost like dead in its tracks. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like a lot of like the Tusken Raider flashbacks aren't really needed. Like I'm liking them, I'm enjoying them, but I feel like it really could have been summed up with Boba Fett giving like a short little speech about where he's been, or like after like the Sarlacc flashback, which I think the Sarlacc flashback is needed. Everybody wanted to see that. Of course, everyone wanted to see that.
Everything that's happened so far in the Tuskens flashback should have been like in one episode. Like one episode ends with him being like, okay, I'm going to tell you the story of like what happened to me, or like there's some type of setup as to why we're getting this story in the next episode. And then the next episode, the whole episode is what he was doing, like
Right.
before the Mandalorian. And then we get some flashbacks every now and again, but they aren't so overwhelmingly taking up so much time every episode. Like I just think it messes with the pacing.
Personally, I think where they're going with the flashbacks isn't so much the Tusken Raider city, although that could be interesting. It might be so. Personally, what I think they're doing is they're priming us for Obi-Wan and Ashrad Het, which if you read the Obi-Wan comics, I don't even know if he's canon right now, but like if you read any of the Legends comics or the Obi-Wan comics, I'm not gonna put a spoil. I'm not gonna like say anything about it, but like Ashrad Het though is crazy, and I really hope that that's where they're going with Obi-Wan. I think that's what they're like priming us for. Honestly, I still am in the boat that I think that main Tusken Raider that's helping Boba, like the leader of the tribe or whatever, is Ashrad Het. But
I'm also this is just a random thought. But in my mind, if they decide to go this direction, I feel like that Boba might end up in a relationship with the Tusken.
I just saw a meme about that because I'm in a Star Wars group chat with some friends. I'm a matter of fact, I'm gonna send it to you right now, but I just saw a meme about that like 30 minutes ago. I was like, what?
But if you don't have much more to say about it, we can move on to The Matrix Resurrections. Have you seen it?
I did see it. I didn't see it in theaters like how I wanted to, but I did see it.
Yeah, because Omarion's out here. He's out here dancing. So
who?
Omarion.
Do you mean Omicron?
I know what I said.
Okay, all right. I'm not even gonna say anything.
Have you not ever heard anybody say that?
No, that's why that took me by such surprise. This is my first time hearing that.
Yeah, people have been calling the Omicron, just like people wouldn't call Corona. They call Omicron Omarion. But yeah,
that's actually hilarious. I literally hadn't heard that. That's hilarious.
So yeah, the Matrix Resurrections. Yeah, how'd you feel about it?
I thought that it was quite interesting. I have some thoughts about it. I liked it. I'll say that I did like it. I feel like this should not be where the Matrix series ends. That would be a very interesting place to just stop the series altogether. But there's been no confirmed continuation of this, which I think is a little, I'm not gonna say alarming, but it is quite interesting that there's been no confirmed continuation of this so far. But like, I really, I don't end it right here. This is a weird place to end it. But I mean, I didn't dislike it. I didn't dislike it. I have a lot of stuff that I liked about it, but I have some
Yeah,
thoughts.
the thing about this movie is I feel the opposite about this movie than The Matrix 2, where The Matrix 2 has some amazing action, but the story is a little hit or miss sometimes. Um, Whereas I love the story and the lore and everything that they were setting, that they showed us in this movie, the way that the world evolved and what they were going for in the story. But the action sucked ass hard. It was not good. It wasn't horrible. I don't want to say it was horrible. It definitely, it wasn't like the worst action I've ever seen. Um, but it wasn't particularly good, especially when the bar is set at the Matrix. This is the Matrix. And like it has to be intentional, because how do you make a Matrix movie and have none of the action scenes feel like an action scene in a Matrix movie? I'm like very confused at like how they even made the mistake of having the action be so underwhelming. Like at the very least, at the very worst of what Matrix Revelations was, and as much of the Dragon Ball Z type fighting that was happening, I still had fun watching Neo fight Smith. I really did. That was the Neo versus Smith fight. In the factory is probably the best fight in the movie, and that fight wasn't that good. So yeah, I like what they were doing with the story. I really, really disliked the action. It sucked hard, man. I didn't like it. That's how I feel about Matrix Resurrection. We can get into spoilers now if you want to talk about specific things that we liked from the story.
Okay, I will start by saying I didn't dislike the action all that much. Honestly, I honestly disliked the story more than I disliked the action. But at the same time, I liked both. Um, for the first solid hour of the movie, which took place entirely in the Matrix, I was a little confused because I was like, I don't really see where this is going, and I don't quite understand. And they gave a slight explanation for what was going on with like Neo and stuff like that, but like it still felt a little lacking to me. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it because I only watched it one time. But like, I don't know. I felt like there was a lot in the beginning where I was like, I'm not understanding what's going on, quite frankly, and I don't really. Even after the movie, I still have a lot of questions about the beginning of the movie. But um, I did really like a lot of what I like a lot of the self-awareness of the beginning of the movie, because the beginning of the movie was very self-aware and it was very hilarious. And they were talking about like, oh, the Matrix makes money. So of course our parent company Warner Bros. Like they literally said our parent company Warner Bros. Has ordered a sequel, yada yada yada, and everybody loves reboots and yada yada. I'm like, oh my God, they really are on the nose with this.
Like Lana was kind of just sending middle finger to WB with this and just going like, I did not want to do this. Why are you making me do this? I think
They
that
really did.
I think that's what she was doing.
Because it was basically like they're gonna do this with. He literally said they're gonna do this with or without us. So it's better that it's in our hands. But we really don't want to do this anyway. And I'm like, you know what? I like that.
I feel like the action being so different was on purpose. I feel like the entire movie was a big, gigantic commentary on like sequels to old franchises that nobody wanted. And she was trying to make a point, and I think she made a point. Um, but I think that in the first one, unlike with the first one, or I guess similarly, the people talk about the first movie and talk about how it's a allegory to transitioning,
Mm.
And in this one, it was even more clear than it was in the first one. Because at the end, it came down to Trinity also essentially like the one not just being Neo, but also being like Trinity is a crucial part to what makes the one. And at the end they both had the same powers, but before then, the power had completely transitioned over to Trinity, and she was the one that was flying. And she was the one with power. And that allegory for transitioning was very clear.
I'm gonna have to rewatch
Oh yeah,
Resurrections,
I watched it twice.
or not Resurrections, Revelations, whatever one the last one is, because I don't remember Trinity staying dead. I remember she died and Neo brought her back to life in the Matrix, which brought her back to life in the real world.
No,
but
like she died and then they just never showed her body again. He left.
Okay, because I remembered something completely different. That's why I was like, I'm gonna have to rewatch that movie because I've only seen it once.
The week before um Resurrection came out.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna have to rewatch those, like all three of the movies. First of all, because the first two, I love the first one. We talked about this. I love the first one. The first one's a masterpiece. The second one, less so, but I still really enjoy the second one. The third one I've literally only watched once for a reason. I just did not like the third one, but yeah, no, I really don't see. I really hope this is not the end of the Matrix franchise, because this is a very strange place to just leave it off.
Yeah, the idea of them, like the machines like going to war with each other because they're running out of energy because of the deal they made with Neo, and then the machines actually deciding to join forces with the humans and help build the city of Io, as well as them like replicating or like rebuilding Neo and Trinity's bodies, I thought were all really cool. And also just how the Matrix itself evolved to try and just be more efficient with the way it was like making energy. I thought was really cool. Like I thought a lot of the aspects of the story were really dope.
I thought that the robots going to war with each other was an interesting idea. I thought that it felt a little weird because I always got the sense, especially in the Animatrix, which I don't know if you ever watched the Animatrix, but especially in the Animatrix, that like the robots they weren't exactly like a unified hive mind, but they were very close to it. And seeing them go to war with each other over like energy and stuff like that, it was an interesting concept, and I think I like it more now, like thinking back on it. But it felt a little weird to me.
Also, I like the idea of bringing in programs into like the real world using that like those magnets. I thought that was really cool. Something I thought was weird and unnecessary, and I feel like it had to like I feel like Morpheus and Smith. I feel like Lawrence Fishburne and why am I forgetting his name? Who the dude who played Smith? I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. But I feel like they had to have just straight up said no to being in this film for them to not have them. Because I feel like not having Hugo Weaving and Lawrence Fishburne play Agent Smith and Morpheus, like it just didn't feel right. Like I like Yahya Abdul-Mateen, but I like Morpheus is like Lawrence Fishburne is Morpheus, and I felt like his performance would have been so much better if it was just straight up Lawrence Fishburne. And I feel like having Hugo Weaving and Lawrence Fishburne would have elevated this movie even higher for me, because I feel like their performances would have just made the movie so much better because they're both just so good as those characters. And I feel like it's weird that they just weren't in this movie. Maybe
I gotta say, I do like the fact, I feel like they should have explained what happened to Morpheus, because I mean, like, they obviously drop hints about it, and like, they're like, it's like, he's dead, obviously, but like, they don't talk about it.
I feel like they should have had some type of flashback showing what happened.
Which, like, if he died of old age, cool. I feel like what I like about it is that, did you ever play The Matrix Online?
No.
Okay, good. It really wasn't good. But they in one of the Matrix Online expansions, they kill off Morpheus. Like Morpheus is dead, and I feel like the fact that they like stuck to that lore a little bit with like Morpheus being dead and stuff like that, but them still finding a way to bring him back, I thought that was really cool. However, they also brought Neo back in the Matrix Online, which they did that much differently than they did in this movie. So, but then again, the Matrix Online again was not good. But I do like a lot of concepts in this movie. I like a lot of what they did. I do love the fact that they like at least a little bit took what was in the Matrix Online, because the Matrix Online did have some cool like story concepts. Um, I still feel like an explanation of what happened to Morpheus would have been cool, because they literally just don't talk about it. And I'm like, all right, well, I mean, I can assume that he's dead like he is in Matrix Online, but like, how am I to know? Maybe he could just be off living in like the real world version of Aruba or whatever. I don't know what happened to this man.
Yeah, when they went back to IO, or I was wondering who was going to be, because I was like, they got to have somebody from the other movies there still alive, and I wasn't for me it was definitely between Niobe and Morpheus, and it was Niobe, and that was cool. It was cool seeing um Jada Pinkett Smith in that like makeup to make her look way older, like she's in like her 80s or something. It's like 60 years since what happened in the original film, the original trilogy. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a cool movie overall. I would give it a solid what would I give out of five? Like a 2.5, three maybe. It was cool. It was all right. I enjoyed it. I had fun. I watched it twice.
I
I
also
watched
gotta say,
I watched
having
further
oh
analysis.
god,
I watched it the second time for further analysis more so than wanting to. I kind of just wanted to watch it again to see it, to just wrap my head around it a little bit more.
I gotta say, I feel like I wish they made Mr. Smith creepier, because in the original trilogy, Mr. Smith was a creepy character.
That's why I wanted Hugo Weaving, because Hugo Weaving is just really good as Agent Smith. He's just great. And if it was
I
Hugo,
fully agree that they should have had Hugo Weaving, but like even if they didn't have Hugo Weaving, they could have had a creepier actor, or that actor act creepier. Like that actor was just kind of like he reminded me of like the like typical like a-hole, like
like
he's
tech,
just like a regular a-hole. Like I don't really care about him. I want to care about Mr. Smith, because Mr. Smith and Neo's dynamic was like the coolest thing.
he's just a douchebag white dude.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's pretty much it. Like
And I
there's
kind of
nothing else to that character.
hated that he kept calling Neo what did he call him? Tom instead of Mr. Anderson. Like
Yes, that's literally his whole thing, is he calls him Mr. Anderson. I'm like, why are you calling him Tom? It's Mr. Anderson to you, sir. God.
I wish he would have said that. It's Mr. Anderson to you. But moving on to final segment of the podcast, video games. So the KOTOR remake will change the combat to a style more similar to God of War, I've heard. Which I say thank God, because
Thank God.
we both don't like turn-based combat a lot, despite the fact that I put 80 hours into Persona 5. That's the only turn-based game that I've ever played for that long. But like, thank God. Because that's where lightsaber combat thrives. It's in a character action format, like Jedi Fallen Order or like The Force Unleashed. Like that's what I need in my life.
Like the thing is that KOTOR wasn't exactly turn-based. Like it's hard to, it's like you click a bunch of you just kind of like spam a bunch of actions and like they do the actions. I wouldn't exactly call it turn-based, but like I don't hate KOTOR combat, but like if in a 20 whatever game, like 2022, 2023, whenever it comes out, it needs updated combat. Like it needs better real-time combat. And I'm very glad that they're updating combat. I hadn't heard this. I'm just very glad that they are. Because that was one of my biggest concerns, that they were just going to keep the same combat. And I didn't see that happening, but like I'm like, what if they did? What if they kept the same
It would have been sad.
combat?
It would have been so sad, and I would have just been watching YouTube videos of people playing it because I wouldn't play it. You probably still would, but
Oh yeah, no, it's me. It's me in Star Wars. I would still play it.
I might have too. It would have been like that like the Assassin's Creed situation where I don't like Assassin's Creed as it is now because it's just very repetitive and I'm not a fan of it. But if it was, like I said before, if it was in Star Wars universe, I would probably play the hell out of a game like that. Like if you give me a turn-based game, but it's Star Wars, I might play the mess out of it. So I don't know if I can necessarily say I wouldn't play it either. The Last of Us remake is nearing completion. Which they announced that like a couple months after part 2 came out in 2020, which is weird to say because I had to look it up because I was like, wait, when did The Last of Us Part 2 come out? And it came out in 2020, and it feels like it came out 2021, but it didn't. It didn't. It came out in 2020, and so did Ghost of Tsushima. Even though they both, to me, feel like they came out 2021. Like 2020 feels so. It felt like it didn't happen. 2020 felt like it didn't happen. But
We're
yeah,
just all in the matrix, man.
yeah, probably. That's how the pandemic started. That's what the vaccine did. It put us in the matrix. Let me not start that. Uh,
Because these Facebook groups and these YouTube channels will latch onto that.
People are gonna clip that. Like, you see that? He's anti-vax. I'm vaccinated, guys, and I'm gonna get my booster shot soon. But what is it? Like a lot of people, we talked about it before, how it's kind of unnecessary because this game's only 7 years old, and the first, like the remaster, still looks pretty good. But we also talked about how as long as it doesn't stop them from making new games, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, as long as it doesn't keep them from making new games, which it won't, because they are a gigantic team and they have the capability of working on multiple projects at once, which they do, and I'm sure that they are. And if it's nearing completion, meaning it's probably gonna come out this year or next year, then that means that they kind of breeze through this because they already have a lot of the assets. So to me, that says that this didn't really impede the production of any other games, and that it was really streamlined, and that we're still going to get new stuff from Naughty Dog, along with this Last of Us remake, which I'm excited to play. Here's what I'll say to you: if
they just put copy and paste, I mean, it's not a whole game. They just put copy and paste to update the graphics.
That's just how it works. Command C, Command V. But yeah, like here's the challenge I'm going to issue to you. You like stealth games, and I've told you before that I think Last of Us Part 2 has some of the best stealth mechanics I've ever played. If they change, because I don't think you've ever played the first one, or at the very least you haven't played all of it. Because you don't really care too much about it. But if they change the gameplay in terms of stealth to be just like the second game, I want you to play this first game. I want you to try it out, bro. Even if at the beginning you aren't interested and you wait for a discount. Eventually, I want you to play the remake. If they change the combat to be more like the second game, because bro, I got to get you come over here at some point and just have you, because you can go into the menu and just choose one of the like stealth sections and actually just play one of the stealth sections from the game in Last of Us Part 2. I might have you come over and just play one of the stealth sections and just figure it out and just have some fun, because the stealth in that game is so good. Like, even if you don't like the story, the stealth is great. I just need you to experience it.
I do stuff like crazy. I did a payday heist with a couple of my friends, did completely ghost, like 100% ghost, 100% stealth. And I was very surprised I did that, because I've never in a million years been able to do any type of stealth in the payday game. So maybe I'll be able to do it. I don't know. I play all my games stealthy, even if stealth isn't required, or even if like you can't do it stealthily. Like, there's no section in the original Spider-Man that you can do completely stealthily without getting caught, and I try every time regardless.
The stealth in that first game is so bad. I wonder how they're going to switch up the stealth for Peter specifically, because the thing with Miles is that you can go back into stealth because you can turn invisible. So how are they going to do that with Peter, because he can't turn invisible? Unless, like, I don't know, he makes some type of technology based off of Miles' powers that makes him able to turn invisible. Or maybe, what is it, the sneaking suit in Metal Gear Solid 4, where like it's like a chameleon, like how Snake will lean up against the wall and he'll like get the pattern. What if Spider-Man had a suit like that? Because there are spiders like that like lay against the wall and they like camouflage.
I mean, they could just give him the big time suit, because that's not exactly, the big time suit's just completely invisible to everyone that's not wearing the goggles. They could just like give him a comic accurate big time suit with the power.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say, you mean comic accurate in terms of powers, because I'm like, the one in the game looks amazing. It looks just like it does.
Oh yeah, no, the one in the game looks almost completely comic accurate.
That was one of my favorite suits in the game. I used to wear that suit all the time. Now I only wear the Amazing Spider-Man suit, and I'm waiting for them to add the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit. I hope they don't wait for the second game to add that.
I feel like they're gonna wait for the second game to add that. I really hope they don't, and I really hope that when they do add that game, or when they do add that suit, it's not PS5 only, because that's my favorite live action Spider-Man suit. I want that suit. Just give me the suit. That's all I want.
So you hope it's not what?
I hope it's not PS5 only because the past couple suits have been PS5 only, and I'm like, come on.
Oh, the suits have been PS5 only? I did not
Yeah,
know.
the Far From Home suits, or not Far, the No Way Home suits are PS5 only.
Really? That's
Yeah.
weird.
The last PS4 suit, I think, was the Amazing Spider-Man 1 suit. That was the last suit before the No Way Home suits, right?
That's really strange.
The No Way Home suits are PS5 only.
That's odd. Well, the last thing we're gonna talk about is Dying Light 2. So Dying Light's Twitter posted, they just made a post that said it will take 500 hours for you to beat this game. Like that was the tweet. And everybody was like, excuse me? Because that's a lot. And I don't like long games. So everybody was very, very, very confused that it would take that long. And here's what I understand based on further comments that they made, because the way they said it was horrible. They did not further expound. Actually, the
Dying Light 2, the game will be 500 hours, refuses to elaborate. Just never.
Exactly what happened. They just said 500 hours and they didn't elaborate. I just went to their Twitter to check and they just updated it. It says update. And it's a quote retweet of the tweet that they made that saying was 500 hours. 500 hours is related to maxing out the game, finishing all the quests, endings, and exploring every part of the world. But a regular player should finish the game side quests and do quite a lot of exploring in less than 100 hours. So don't worry, because that's what I gathered when I went through. Because other people was like, "What are you talking about?" And Dying Light, like they like the Twitter official Twitter like responded to a lot of those people going like, no. Like the whole game is 500 hours. It's 500 hours replaying the game and getting
If it's 500 hours for the story, that better be the best video game story I've ever played in my entire life.
This video game story better be like a TV show. And I'm watching like 10 seasons of a TV show because
I was gonna say it better be the length of like Supernatural as a TV show with 15
this better be
seasons.
Smallville length. Actually, Supernatural is like 5 seasons longer than Smallville.
I was gonna say it's literally 15 seasons. Like it better be Supernatural length with like the writing of like the first couple of seasons of Game of Thrones. Like this had better be the greatest thing to ever grace my PS4.
But here's what, like, as soon as I figured out that that's what they meant, I went, now I'm a little bit more excited for this game than I was, because if the story branches off so much, depending on your decisions, that it will take you replaying the game several times in 500 hours to fully experience all of those different choices. That means that the choices have to be pretty expansive in terms of how different they are and how they affect the game. Because in terms of like whenever a game outside of a player choice game, like a Telltale game or a Quantic Dream game or a Ready at Dawn game tries to do something like this, it doesn't work with like action games or like open world games. It tends to only work with player choice games where it's primarily kind of like you're playing a movie. So to see them potentially maybe actually make the whole player choice thing work in an action game is kind of exciting, because that's what this is telling me, is that like if you have 500 hours worth of different choices on top of how long the actual story is, which is 20 to 30 hours, and plus seven and like 70 more for you to 100% do all the side quests and everything, then that tells me that there must be some pretty expansive, choices that could be made that really, change the game. And that's interesting. So 500 hours to 100% complete the game and get all the trophies and stuff like that. Not like for the story and all the side quests. That interests me. How you feel before you close this up?
Dying Light 2, I want to say it's one of my most anticipated games of the year, because it was at first, and then I keep forgetting about it, and then every time I see something about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm excited for this game, and I forget about it entirely again, and then like it comes back, I'm like, I love this game. But it already is one of my most anticipated games of the year, like even if I keep forgetting about it. But I like long game stories. You know this. That's where we differ. I love long game stories, and a 500-hour story game sounds great. But I'm just very interested and very excited to get involved in this world and in this story. I played a little bit of the first one and I liked it a lot, but I never owned the first one. I might actually buy it. It should only be like $10. It came out like 90 years ago.
Yeah, I'm looking
So,
at parkour.
oh yeah, no, I can't wait to get in
Yeah,
there
like a-
parkour, like
yeah,
Mirror's
like
Edge
a
level
parkour game
parkour.
since Mirror's Edge, the second one, and we need more Mirror's Edge because I feel like they've just been dropping the ball on Mirror's Edge because the second one
I
didn't.
don't think they're gonna make another Mirror's Edge because the second one didn't perform all that well
Yeah, that's what I
monetary.
was about to say. They didn't. The second one didn't perform well, so they. I think it's because I don't know, man. I think Mirror's Edge could be really good. They just
I like Mirror's Edge 2. I thought Mirror's Edge 2 was great.
they don't believe in it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. They don't believe in it, and they need to just people like parkour, man. Just make a good parkour game. It doesn't even have to be a Mirror's Edge game. Like make like it's it's an EA game. Like make like an EA equivalent of like a parkour game. Like give us some parkour games.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like Mirror's Edge, not just like the parkour. The parkour is great. The gameplay is great. It's all fun. The story of the second game was meh, but like they have so much potential for like a Mirror's Edge universe or whatever. Like there are Mirror's Edge comics
Yeah, the
that are
world.
really good.
And wasn't the second one like a reboot?
No. The second one was a continuation of the first game.
It wasn't. It was set definitely like a reboot, bro. Because it was.
No, it picked up where the second one ended, or it picked up where the first one ended.
Did it?
Yeah,
I don't believe that.
it. I'm telling you, it picked up where the first one ended.
My memory says that it was a reboot, but it's been a while. Yeah, I wish they could make more of that, but I don't want to go in too long. We're already over 30 minutes, hour 30. So, you know, as usual, you can find our ads below us. My ad right below me, Amir's below him, and right below his is the Mustard Guys ad. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more storytelling content, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. Peace.